In Chapter 4-4 of Radiant Dawn, we switch back to Ike's perspective. The Grail Army shelters in Senator Oliver's old mansion, who was supposedly executed for his crimes in the previous game, but has apparently been secretly kept alive. We are also reunited with Tormod, Muarim, and Vika, and they finally become playable again after more than 20 chapters of inavailability. That said, by now, they are all extremely underleveled and functionally useless. This is even demonstrated in a cutscene where Tormod finds that his attacks are ineffective against the Disciples of Order. And this is another route map, this time featuring 116 enemies, which is frankly just ridiculous. There are a lot of mages as well as a sleep staff user on this map who can cause a lot of trouble for Ike, but with the correct positioning and a callous disregard for human life, it is not impossible to beat this map with Ike alone. Tormod, Vika, and Muarim are auto-deployed on this map, but unfortunately they are all useless and they are a complete liability. Keeping them alive will require significantly more effort than I am willing to expend, so I just let them all die. Tormod is immediately one-rounded by an archer, Vika is killed by a critical, and Muarim is hit repeatedly until his transformation meter runs out, after which he is immediately killed. By heartlessly sacrificing his former compatriots for a marginal gain, Ike is free to move to the most defensible spot on the map, that being the ledges on the upper right. By having Ike sit on a ledge, many of the enemy mages will attack from lower ground, drastically reducing their accuracy. This allows Ike, who is normally weak to magic, to fight very favorably against many mages at once with his high ground advantage. By taking advantage of this choke point, I'm able to slaughter dozens of enemies at a time until all of the aggressive enemies are gone. There is one sleep staff user near the boss, which is a problem because Ike is very vulnerable to being put to sleep. The sleep status disables your actions, but more importantly, it sets your void to 0, making dodging anything basically impossible. So in short, being put to sleep with enemies nearby is basically a death sentence. Unfortunately, that's only if there are enemies nearby. I managed to bait out the sleep staff and wait out all 3 charges in complete safety outside of the range of any of the remaining foes. With victory secured, I grabbed all of the treasure from the chest by using some door keys and chest keys I had in storage, but most of it is honestly pretty superfluous at this point. After clearing all the enemies, I approached the boss, Oliver, who is a meme recruitable character that forcibly recruits himself into your army if you brought Raphael. Unfortunately, I didn't bring him because keeping Raphael alive would be rather tough with my setup, so I just decided to kill Oliver instead. With this, the map ends, and surprisingly, the first 4 characters have been added to your death counter simply because they were all more trouble than they were worth.